So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Please let me know when you can actually see it. Okay, so that can follow up.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, so first and foremost, okay, so to start from, thanks very much, okay, for inviting me to be part of this workshop slash webinar. To start from, I'm very, very happy to be here, okay. One of the things that I mentioned to Victoria when we were actually preparing this event was the fact that I'm so happy actually to be on the other side and have someone that has a few years of experience, like sharing with me, as I would be a student, let's put it like that, what is CRM about, and just addressing questions about the market. And I'm just, I said that to Victoria, that I wish that I would have someone like that when I was actually at university. Okay, so hopefully this will be interesting for you. Okay, and please feel free to raise your questions. Okay, so we're going to be addressing them at the end on the Q&A, and please feel free to do that. Don't be shy. Okay, so that we can have a really interesting session. Okay, so to start from, so this is then a NOMA Nova workshop webinar. Okay, so and my name is Paulo. Okay, so I'm going to start from. Can everyone actually see the presentation correctly like this? Okay, is it good enough? Yeah, feel free. Okay, you can open your mic if you have anything to add. Okay, so let's go into this. So to start from, this is what we're going to be covering. So I'm going to give you an intro on myself. I'm going to covering some ins and outs around CRM. Then we're going to have some hands-on sessions with regards to the CRM side of things. Okay, so we're going to visit not just Salesforce. We're going to go into Salesforce, but to the other platforms as well. So that you can actually have a hands-on experience of what is this about. Okay, and also we're going to be checking the learning platform. Okay, where you can. I will teach you how you can actually create your own account, and therefore you can actually eventually become experts on CRM. Okay, and there is a free platform that allows for you to actually to become one if you wish to. Okay, so then the point that we're going to be covering is then career options. So within this, what is it that myself and Victoria were looking to share with you? Is not just what is it that you can actually do in terms of career, but also in terms of salaries, brackets, so that you have an indication of what is it that you can actually make in terms of a career, in terms of salary within this area. Okay. Let me know if it's clear. If you have any questions for now, Victoria. All good?
I think everything's good.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. I'm just gonna close my window, okay, because I'm here in Barcelona and sometimes it's a bit noisy. Okay, just give me 1 sec. Okay, I think it's better like this. Okay, so let's go. So my intro. So who am I? So Victoria already shared a bit my background. Okay, but essentially my background is around project management and program management. Okay, heavily around CRM, marketing technology as well. But essentially around that, I've been working on marketing technology and sales technology that I'm going to share with you a bit. What is this about? Okay, it's a very interesting area with more and more demand in terms of work as well. And also, I've been working a lot around CRM. Okay, and I've been working on Salesforce since 2012. Before actually coming to Salesforce, I was working on marketing, general marketing. Okay, and then I moved from general marketing into a more analytical kind of marketing, let's put it like that, more technological kind of marketing. And I've been working across 5 different countries, okay, throughout my career. And essentially since 2012, give or take, I've been working on digital transformation. Okay, so always in connection to marketing, always in connection to sales and service, but essentially on digital transformation projects. Okay, and on the back of that, I've created my own YouTube channel because of everything that happened with coronavirus. Okay, so my objective was and is to help as much as I can. Okay, so therefore I created my YouTube channel, and I'm sharing knowledge on the YouTube plus on LinkedIn as well. Okay, so if you want to add me, I'm happy to share knowledge and even address any kind of questions that you may have. Okay, and that's it in a nutshell. Important fact as well, I'm Portuguese. Okay, I'm guessing some of you are also Portuguese. Okay, I live in Barcelona right now, and I'm working as the global head of Salesforce in global. Okay, that's it in a nutshell. Okay, so let's go a bit more into details of the CRM ins and outs. Okay, so to start from CRM, there is this needs sometimes to try to clarify a bit what is CRM about. So CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. Okay, that I'm guessing that most of you already know. But then there is another let's say point that needs to be also to be clarified. So on the screen, okay, you have one quadrant, let's say for marketing, another one for sales, another one for service. Okay, so normally speaking, when we are talking about CRM, we are talking about sales. Okay, so we are talking about lead management, we are talking about pipeline management, we are talking about the platform where the customer actually resides. Okay, but also there are loads of people that actually speak of the marketing platforms as being the CRM, or they speak about the service platforms as being the CRM. Okay, but essentially, just to clarify, when we are talking about CRM specifically, we are talking about the sales side of things. Okay, but then overall, the sum up, let's say, of marketing, sales, and service, it's what's called the full CRM. Okay, so just to give you a bit of background on what is this about. Okay, so and just to add a bit to that as well. Okay, what I've took or what I decided together with Victoria was to give you guys a bit more granularity on what is that you should actually consider if you're looking to work more on the marketing side of things, that I'm guessing that most of you are. Okay, on the sales or even on the service side of things, what are the platforms in terms of CRM that you should look at and eventually become an expert on? And the reason for that is because there is a lot of demand, and there are some platforms that are let's say better in terms of market demand, and those are the ones that you should actually consider. Okay, so I'm gonna put on big screen. Okay, can you see it better like this? I'm not sure. Victoria, can you confirm?
Nothing has changed for me.
No.
No.
Okay. Okay, no worries. So I'll keep it like that. Okay, so hopefully you can see within the quadrant of the marketing side, there is Adobe. Okay, on the as the leader. Okay, so this stands for Adobe Marketing Cloud. Okay, then you have Salesforce. Okay, that we're going to be looking a bit more into detail today. Okay, that is Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Okay, then you have Oracle, that has a platform that is called Eloqua. Okay, those are the three main platforms in terms of the marketing landscape. Okay, and by platforms, what I mean is like a CRM platform, a CLM platform. Okay, so where you can actually do what is known as marketing automation. Okay, campaigns in an automated fashion. Okay, let's put it like that to try to simplify. Okay, so those are the three that you should take a look at. Aside from that, there is another one that is called Pegasystem. Okay, that is growing quite a lot in terms of the market. You should take a look into that one as well. On the sales side of things, okay, on the proper CRM, let's put it like that, or on the classic CRM, you have Salesforce. Okay, that is the leader, I think, for over 10 years now. Okay, the Salesforce roughly has 20 years, and they are a cloud-based solution. Okay, then you have Microsoft, that essentially the product that they have here is CRM Dynamics, Microsoft CRM Dynamics, and then you have Oracle. Oracle has two different products, one that is being discontinued. So if you are coming across an offer that says to you, hey, do you want to work on Siebel? Just say no. It's don't go through that route, okay? It's going to be discontinued, so don't choose that, okay? So of course you can work on Oracle CRM, okay, but the leader is without a question Salesforce, okay? Then also for you to have a background on that as well, with regards to service, okay, you have the Service Cloud. So essentially you have the Marketing Cloud, the Sales Cloud, and the Service Cloud, okay? And why I speak of clouds, essentially because all of this is in the cloud, okay? You're gonna see it in a sec. I'm gonna go inside of Salesforce and you're gonna see it live in the cloud. There is no software installation. There is no connecting to nothing, okay? You just link into a specific URL that gives you access to Salesforce, Oracle, or Microsoft Dynamics CRM, as an example, okay? So if you want to work much more on the service side of things, okay, you can consider also Salesforce, that is really high in terms of the quadrant, okay, is leading the quadrant, but also there is Pegasystems, okay, that I mentioned before with regards to the CRM side of things with Sales Cloud. But there is another one for those that are more inclined to work on customer support and things like that, okay? That is Customer. Customer was acquired by a known company that invented the like, okay, aka Facebook. Okay, so they bought Customer, and it's highly likely that Customer will start growing more and more through and will become closer and closer to Salesforce. Okay, so Customer is an interesting platform that you should actually look at and invest your time if you want to become experts on working on Customer. Okay, because all of those platforms are different, but of course the concepts of CRM go across the board. Okay, so let's go. Hopefully this was clear. Okay, if not, please add it to the questions and I will address them later on. Okay, so let's go a bit more into detail of the mix-up. Why did I call this the mix-up? Just to try to clarify what is what. Okay, so when I'm talking about CRM, I'm talking about essentially around the sales side of things. Okay, but essentially when you put together sales, marketing, and service, then you are talking about the full CRM. Okay, normally speaking, the CRM is the brain. Okay, is where everything connects: the customer, service, marketing, also integration with other platforms. Everything goes into the brain that is CRM. When we are talking about CLM, we are talking about mostly about the marketing side of things. Okay, so essentially would be Adobe Campaign, Marketing Cloud, Pardot. Those are some of the solutions that you're going to come across with. Okay, so what is it that you can actually find within a CLM? Essentially, you're going to be able to find, or the objective of a platform of this nature is to do campaigns. Okay, so then on top of the campaigns, most likely, and if you're going to go for a more advanced kind of solutions, okay, when you are talking about campaigns, some of which are just email marketing campaigns, okay, but others are actually multi-channel. Okay, so I'm going to go a bit more into detail on another slide, but you're going to be able to do social, you're going to be able to do some automation, okay, through the usage of workflows and rules, but also you're going to be able to build forms for people to join, for instance, your brand. You're going to be able to build landing pages or websites as well, where people can go and they can fill on the information. When you fill the information, you are filling the information on a form, okay? And this information will go inside of the CRM. And then you have this one that is called DMP, that stands for Data Management Platform. that essentially manages all the information with regards to data part, okay, inside of the platform, but also outside, okay, that connects to different data platforms like Facebook, but also third-party platforms, and connects the information of the platform with that external data, okay, so that you can have a full view of the customer that you are targeting as part of your campaign, okay. So a bit more into detail on what is the CRM about, and then the CLM. Okay, CRM, as I mentioned, so the full CRM then combines the three. Okay, marketing, customer, and also sales or service, as you may also address it by that. But then within this, what you have are some few things that you really need to have a good grasp, a good understanding of. Okay, so one is around, with CRM you can do campaign, okay, and therefore you can actually measure the performance. We're going to take a look into that as well. You're going to see that you can do pipeline management. What is this about? So for instance, you're going to start the campaign. You start the campaign, and normally speaking, you're going to start the campaign because you want to run a brand awareness campaign, or for instance, imagine you're going to run a campaign so that you can actually pull or have more customers, potential customers. When you run a campaign and you go for the acquisition of customers, those customers are potential customers still, so they are known as leads. Okay, the leads are then part of the pipeline, okay, at the lead stage. When they are converted then into potential opportunity, this is where the salespeople actually look at it in terms of managing the pipeline in order to close and create a new opportunity, okay? Then, what is it that you can also do as part of the CRM? You can do, and I'm guessing that for you, some of you may be more, let's say, more on the consultancy side of things, more thinking on the concept of marketing, but could be that some of you guys are actually more techie, okay? There is also space and room for all of you, okay? So if you, and you're gonna see it in a sec as well, with Salesforce, and not just with Salesforce, with almost any given platform, you're going to be able to build processes, workflows, build triggers, a bit of code and configuration that allows for you to tailor the experience that you want to give to your customer. Okay. Then the other thing that is also important for you to understand is the Martech, that is pieces of technology, let's say, that you can add on top of the CRM. A few examples, okay? So imagine within the marketing platform, you want to be able to launch WhatsApp campaigns, okay? There are specific solutions, okay? Like for instance, I'm going to give you one, MessageBird, okay? MessageBird is a Dutch company, okay? That what they do is they do, for instance, solutions around communication and engagement. One of those is to be able actually to send out WhatsApp, okay, via the marketing automation platform, okay, in a massive way, okay. You don't have to have someone like putting the or hitting the button. The platform will do it automatically, okay. So that's an example of marketing technology. For instance, the sales technology, an example of would be, for instance, LinkedIn, okay. So everyone more or less knows LinkedIn, okay? But there is different versions of LinkedIn, one of which is called LinkedIn Sales Navigator, okay? What that does allow is that it's like LinkedIn with steroids, okay? So it will give you full visibility of all the insights, interactions of people. But what it's interesting with regards to that specific piece of technology is that allows to connect to your CRM as well. So then you're going to see everything that is happening with a given company, with a given person, without actually leaving your CRM, okay? Everything that will happen on LinkedIn will appear directly inside of your CRM, okay? And people will not even know that you are actually seeing them, because LinkedIn will not trigger that. Yeah, so I'm just sharing with you some details, okay? And e-commerce, okay? E-commerce is one of the things that is also, it's possible to connect to the CRM. E-commerce is one of the things that if any of you guys are having some questions around if I should actually go into e-commerce, I would say definitely go. Why? As we stand right now, e-commerce, and just to give you some numbers, before 2020, e-commerce was growing at the pace of roughly 10%. Okay, 2020 it grew at the pace of 40%. Okay, it's a tremendous growth, and the trends are pointing towards the fact that it will continue on growing like that. I'm going to give you a concrete example of, okay, I'm guessing that most of you guys are acquainted with the brand called Lego. Okay, so Lego is a brand, meaning that needed some time ago to rethink itself. Okay, so one of the things that Lego this year decided to do was to build a center of competence around data, around CRM, and around e-commerce. Okay, in my view, they are doing it on the wrong city. Okay, but that's my perception. Okay, so they are doing it in London. Okay, and the reason for that is I already lived in London and I worked in London as well. The reason for this is that I feel that the big potential for Lego will be much more on the European side of things. Let's put it like that. But their decision was to go into London. Okay, but what is it that they are building there? They are building then a center of competence, just highly focused on the e-commerce side of things, because they want to, as much as possible, because they suffered a slight decrease on sales. They want as much as possible continue to sell not just the Lego that everyone knows, but also clothing, because they have a clothing line. They want to sell it via e-commerce. They have done a partnership with Disney, with Netflix, to sell more cartoons also online. So e-commerce and online are definitely not just a trend, they are effectively something that is real as we stand right now. Okay, I'm gonna drink just a bit of water. Okay, let's go. So CLM. Okay, so here I'm going to go a bit more into detail on what is CLM about. So as I mentioned before, CLM allows then for campaigns, okay? But then you need to consider a few things, okay? Normally speaking, you have solutions that only allow for a single channel, okay, campaigns. Those are the chipmunks, the MailChimp, sorry, of this world, okay? That only allow for email, okay? Which is good, okay? They do their role, okay? Fine. But then if we evolve to a different kind of solution, like for instance, on the case of Adobe Campaign, or on the case of Salesforce Marketing Cloud, what you're gonna have is the possibility of doing multi-channel, okay? What does that mean? It means that you can do email. It means that, for instance, you can do social, you can do SMS, you can do different channels, okay? But on top of that, the beauty of using a solution so advanced as, for instance, Salesforce Marketing Cloud or Adobe Campaign is that actually you can start dreaming on omni-channel, okay? What is omni-channel about? Omni-channel is not just the use of several channels, but actually making sure that you have the same kind of experience across channel, okay? And the solution as this one allows you exactly for that, okay? So that's a very, very strong point for this kind of solutions of customer lifecycle management, CLM, okay? Then it allows for automation, okay? So you can write code, you can do a bit of drag and drop if you are not very, very techy, but you already like to do some more fancy things, okay? It also allows for that. It allows to connect to social. It allows to connect to, because it has loads of data, it allows to connect to external platforms of analytics, such as, for instance, Tableau, or for instance, other solutions like, for instance, Power BI. Okay, there are different solutions that it can connect to. Okay, then you have everything around the data platform and personalization. Okay, I'm gonna give you a concrete example of this. On one of the companies that I work for, they had 40 different websites. Okay, all of those different from each other. So we had to run on this very extensive exercise of harmonizing the websites, okay? But then The beauty was to try to add one thing extra, okay, that was based on the DNP, okay. What this would allow, and this by using Salesforce Marketing Cloud, what this would allow was to recognize you whenever, for instance, Victoria would go to the website, okay, the website would recognize, okay, this is Victoria that is coming, and it will ask a few questions, okay, and we'll save that information, okay. Next time around when Victoria comes, the website, although is the same website, will have parts of it that will be different. Why? Because, for instance, so Victoria, she's a top consultant on the marketing side of things, so she's more interested on having access to ebooks and information about trends, etc. So the website in itself, it will adapt, okay, it will read that Victoria is coming and will give the information more close to what Victoria is looking for, okay. So this is called a personalization via a DNP, okay, and I think it's heavily powerful, okay. So and then you have landing pages that we already spoke of, like creation of websites, and allowing for to embed forms where you can actually just put your information, and then of course connection to e-commerce. Okay, when you put your information, it's because you are interested most likely on a product or if, or something around that company. Okay, so let's go a bit more into hands-on. Okay, so we have now an overview of what is CRM about, what is CLM about. Okay, and we have a bit of some notions of the data part, the e-commerce part, etc., etc. So let's go a bit more into detail and take a concrete example. Okay, so I'm gonna give you then Salesforce. Okay, as an example. So what is that Salesforce has? Salesforce started as a CRM, okay? Only had Sales Cloud at the beginning, and then it grew to have Service Cloud and then Marketing Cloud. Up to here, let's call that this is still a CRM, okay? Then it continued to grow, and now more than ever, Salesforce is not just a CRM, is what we can call a customer 360 platform that holds everything that is important for the customer, okay? So I've added here some color coding, okay, to help you out also on what are the solutions that are more in demand, okay? So Sales Cloud, the CRM is on red. It's heavily on demand, okay? So if you want to go for a job that is really constantly in demand and people are looking for more and more consultants with regards to the CRM side and to the Sales Cloud side of things, go for it because you will not regret it. Okay, then Service Cloud is a kind of a yellow. Okay, it's kind of growing, but still not there. The other thing that is really growing a lot, getting a lot of traction, it's the marketing automation. Okay, Marketing Cloud and Pardot as an example. Okay, it's really, really growing. So you guys being marketing consultants, I think it's spot on. It's sweet. Okay. So the other thing that is growing a lot is e-commerce. Here, I'm almost inclined to put like yellow and red. Why? Because as we stand right now, it's still on yellow, but I'm guessing that still the end of the year will be completely on the red. Okay, because I'm seeing more and more demand for e-commerce people. And by e-commerce, it means that you need to know the knowledge, or you need to have knowledge around how does it work an e-commerce platform, but also then how to give the consultancy around how to better implement the e-commerce platform to a solution or to a company such as Lego. Okay, to make you dream a bit, dream big. It's important. Okay. Then the other thing that is also quite interesting. So Tableau, business intelligence. Okay, so this is also part of Salesforce. So that you have an idea of how big of a business we are speaking of. So Tableau was 23 billion. Okay, that was the cost of Tableau for Salesforce, so that you have an idea of the amount of investment that we're speaking of here. And not so long ago, Salesforce also bought Slack. Okay, that some of you may know. Okay, Slack only costed 27 billion to Salesforce. Okay, so and if you have still doubts how interesting CRM is, yeah, just to give you that kind of numbers. And also the first quarter of 2021, okay, Salesforce is heading to beating the record of all time in terms of performance of sales, so that you can see really a trend that is growing more and more. Okay, so then if you are more into the data, check out Tableau. Okay, it's the leading solution for that in connection to CRM. Okay, then MuleSoft for those that like more in-depth things and code and integration. Then Heroku, okay, that is a platform as a service. Okay, so you have CRM, but you also have Heroku, that is a platform as a service. You have Trailhead that we're gonna see, okay, that is for essentially for training and to get to know more about Salesforce, that you can actually take badges and have a better understanding of it, that you can grow your knowledge around CRM, okay, and it's for free. Okay, there is no cost around that. Okay, then you have some solutions that are mostly connected for those that want to work on an industry such as pharma. Okay, as an example, so Salesforce bought a company called Viva. Okay, that they started to build loads of things on top, up to a point that essentially they become very, very interesting for Salesforce, and Salesforce bought them. Okay, so they are the CRM for pharma. Okay, pharma companies. Okay, and then you have Einstein, artificial intelligence. I don't think that there is any need to talk about artificial intelligence. There are more and more people that are always constantly speaking about it. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go then into Salesforce. Okay, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna open the mic. Okay, or ask to some of you guys to feel free to speak up. Okay, did anyone heard about Salesforce? Did anyone already saw Salesforce before? So that I know. Let me know. Don't be shy.
Well, I've heard about it, but I've never actually used it. And I've actually been studying a bit. I think Salesforce has this event management platform also, and I've been digging a little bit into that. That is called Fontiva, but I didn't have experience with it yet. Okay,
brilliant. Thanks very much, Carolina. Okay, so let's go then into Salesforce. This is Salesforce. Okay. As you can see, is online. Okay, I'm also going to share with you one thing that I find it very interesting is that Salesforce actually allows for anyone that wants to have the environment of Salesforce, they can have it for free. Okay, in a small sandbox. Okay, so this is what we call a sandbox. This environment. And Salesforce allows for it for everyone. If you want to have it, okay, it's a developer sandbox that roughly has 200 mega of data storage, okay? But you can actually go ask Salesforce. They will give you then the sandbox so that you can play around and you can get to know a bit more the CRM so that you can grow your knowledge, okay? So what is it that you can actually do within Salesforce? Apart from the fact that has some cute cartoon-like figures. Okay, so here on this you have a drop down with different apps. Okay, so on this apps, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the CRM side of things. Okay, and then I'm going to go also. I'm going to go into sales. I'm going to go into the marketing side of things. You can build your own apps in connection to Salesforce. Okay, so I'm gonna go there. Okay, so right now we are on the sales app. Okay, and the sales app, within the sales app you have different things. Okay, so you have, for instance, as you can see, your home, and with the home, you can actually customize the home, okay? And the home can actually have not just dashboards, but can have different types of information, okay? Specifically on this one, I just have a dashboard with some information around accounts. Accounts are companies, okay? So here, what is it that you can have access to? You can have access to leads. Just gonna open some leads, okay? And you're gonna see that automatically Salesforce updates everything on this side, okay? And now what you have is the information about the lead. Here, you can add a business process. You can have all the information around the leads. You have the chatter that is similar to Slack, okay? So that you can actually type and write and speak to anyone that sits within the Salesforce at this moment in time, or even later, because the person will receive then an information, okay? And then what this will also allow, okay, you have like this small kind of engine, okay? And then here you have two options. One, it's called edit page. Why is this important? You may ask, okay? So if you go to the edit page, Salesforce is highly customizable, okay? And it allows for drag and drop. So imagine here you have your Salesforce, and what you want to do, you are at the lead stage, and what you want to do, you want to have, for instance, activities being added, okay? So you can just drag and drop, okay? And then you're going to see activities coming around, okay? And then you can just save, and then you're going to have one extra section with activities, okay? This just to give you a bit of what is it that you can do with Salesforce, okay? So it's highly customizable, can do all sorts of different things, okay? Also, it's like you have tasks, you have information around accounts, okay? And once more, with accounts, it's the same as with leads. You can check your leads, you can send emails directly inside of Salesforce, okay? You can have information about the lead, but also you can have information around the news, what's happening. But also, as I mentioned, you can then customize your page and you can change it, okay? You can do campaigns, okay? Directly from Salesforce in connection to Salesforce Marketing Cloud. And here you're going to be receiving all the information around the campaign, okay? So in this case specifically, this was a webinar that we launched back in the day, 2007, when I put together. And then you have all the information around revenue, actual cost of the campaign, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Then another thing that Salesforce has that is quite interesting is around dashboards. Okay. So all dashboards. So imagine you're running a campaign, okay, and then what you want to do is actually to understand how effective was your campaign. So in this case, of course, this does not have data because it's just a sandbox, okay? But you can build your own dashboard, and then you're going to see all the information around the campaign. How many actually converted, what was the response of the campaign, if you use different kind of channels. Sorry, if you use different kind of channels, you're going to be able to actually to have the information around the performance across channel, okay? And you can build it essentially directly inside of Salesforce, okay? So this is high level around the Salesforce ecosystem. You can build reports, okay? And you're going to see then when you go into building a report, you launch the campaign, you just type campaign here, and you're going to see by default, you're already going to have some pre-built type of reports. You can just choose one, okay? And then you can start to build up your own report based on with all the fields that you have available inside of the CRM. Highly flexible, okay? You can run the campaign, you can monitor the campaign, the results of the campaign, and you can share the results of the campaign without leaving your CRM, okay? Very powerful. Okay, then the other thing that you also can do, okay, looking into Salesforce, there is, just gonna go, just to share with you a bit high level. There is one thing called setup, and within setup, what you have are different things, okay? So for instance, as I mentioned before, you can build your own app, okay? So that the app can do whatever you want, okay? You can manage your users, okay? Giving them different types of profiles and access. But also, just gonna click here so that it goes to the roles. But also you can also define what type of roles specifically a user should have, okay? And once more, this is all drag and drop. You can just build it. And then you have more advanced features, as for instance, Einstein for the analytics side of things, okay? Okay, so, and I'm gonna go into another app, okay, so that you can see it, okay, and you can build those, okay. So I'm gonna go into the marketing app. Within the marketing app, you're gonna have a different look and feel, okay, and this is one of the things that Salesforce also has. You can have, for each app, you can have different views, and also each person that can go into Salesforce can have a different view as well. You can customize it up to that level, okay? So for instance, you can, for instance, imagine that you have a customer, a client, and for instance, within that client, you have, for instance, the director of that given company, okay? You have the project manager that is working with you, and then you have some power users that's gonna be working with the CRM on the day-to-day. So you can give different access to the director, to the project manager, but also to the power users. And you can give them different access based on the profiles that I shared with you before, okay? All of this that you have on top is also customizable. You can add or you can take it out, okay? So everything is quite customizable, okay? So this is in a very, very high level Salesforce, okay? But in Salesforce, you can manage the leads, you can manage the accounts, the contact stories, the opportunities, you can build reports, you can connect it to campaigns, to Chatter. You can connect also to external Martech and sales tax solutions that I'm going to be sharing with you in a second, okay? So this is Salesforce, okay? So we're going to go into Trailhead, okay? Within Trailhead, Trailhead is a platform, a learning platform for you to actually to become experts on CRM, okay? And you can learn, you can get yourself some shiny badges, okay? But you also can have access to community, okay? What is community about? So Salesforce has one of the biggest communities of CRM professionals in the world, where you can just raise questions and most likely someone will address your questions, okay? How is it that you can go there? Okay, so this is Trailhead, okay? And within Trailhead, what you have is the learning part, of course, and then you have the credentials where you can earn badges and certifications. We're going to go a bit into that. And then you have community, okay? Community is where you can actually raise questions, okay, to people. And people will then give you an answer, okay? People are within the community are very, very happy to support. And who are those people, you may ask? So they are just like me and you, okay? Regular people that work on Salesforce, okay, that are happy to help anyone else, okay? So going into this, how does this work? So essentially, imagine I'm gonna ask Giacomo Fulgione. How are you?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, sorry to pick on you. Okay, so what is your personal interest? What is it that you'd like to learn? Are you more on the marketing side, on the data side, sales? Tell me.
Marketing, I would say.
Marketing, okay, genius. Okay, so when you are on Trailhead, okay, the only thing that you need to do is just to type, okay, marketing, okay, and what will this do? Will showcase what it's called as a trail, okay, where you can actually, what you can do is, this of course is in connection to Marketing Cloud and with Pardot, so the solutions of Salesforce. But essentially what you can do is you can go there, okay, and then Salesforce will teach you how to craft effective marketing emails, okay. And it says, okay, this is a 25 minutes course, okay, and we'll give you tips and tricks on how to have the best subject line, how to build effectively an email, how to build an A/B testing, and then at the end, you're gonna have a kind of an exercise, okay? On some cases, it's like this, but it could be also that will be like a kind of a hands-on, okay? So it will pull you to work actually inside of the Salesforce environment. So for you to actually to build a campaign, at the end of that, then Salesforce will check if the campaign was well done. If it's well done, what we'll give you, it's a new badge, okay? So for instance, on my case, I have now 89 badges, okay? But you can keep on earning badges and points, okay? And what this will do, I'm going to give you an example of. Okay, I'm going to go into mine profile. Essentially, Trailhead is a gamification platform, okay? So that allows for you actually to play and learn. And what you have are different ranks of and badges, okay? Right now I'm sitting here, okay? I'm going hopefully to become a ranger. That is the highest rank that you can get. But on the back of that, you have super badges, etc. But essentially, for each training that you close, you're gonna get points, and then based on those points, eventually you're gonna get badges, and you're gonna start growing your knowledge around Salesforce. Okay, so going back to this, another one. Thank you very much, Giacomo. Okay, so another one.
Thank you.
Imagine that you are someone that wants to know more about, let's say, data. Okay, with all the GDPR information and conversation that exists. Okay, with all the questions. So if you type here, for instance, even GDPR, most likely Salesforce, yeah, exactly. Salesforce has some modules that will teach you everything about GDPR, and you can learn more about it. Okay, and then at the end you do the test, you get eventually everything right, and then on the back of that you gain yourself some badges. Okay, that's it. And here within Trailhead, you have, I would say, everything that is to do with CRM end to end. Okay, you can just put, and it's heavily, it's very, very accessible. How is it that you can get access to Trailhead? So I'm gonna go log out. Okay, Trailhead is for free. Okay, so I'm just logging out to show you how is it that you can access. Okay, so you go to Trailhead, okay, and then you just click on sign up, okay, and then it will ask you, do you want to use LinkedIn or Google or whatever, or you want to use your Salesforce, on this case, Sandbox, okay. So normally speaking, I use my Salesforce, but you guys can use whatever you want, okay. Then the other thing that I was keen just to share with you, so this is essentially Trailhead, okay? and this is the community. But there are more things that are really interesting. One thing that is really interesting is around the apps exchange. Okay, what is this of the apps exchange? What is this about the apps exchange? The apps exchange is essentially like an Apple store. Okay, an Apple store that has roughly 5,000 apps that are built. Okay, so working on the marketing side, you may want to give more power to your marketing platform. Okay, and this is where the marketing technology comes around. Okay, so these are different pieces of technology of Martech, okay, that you can add on top. Like for instance, the message bird that I spoke of. Okay, you can just download. On this case, it's a paid version. Okay, but you also have free versions. Okay, it depends on the app. What you can do is just you go there, okay, and what we'll do is you can push on Get It Now button, and this will install the app inside of your Salesforce, giving it more power to your CRM. Okay, and this works not just for Marketing Cloud, but this works also for Service Cloud, for Commerce Cloud, for those that are looking into the commerce side of things. Okay, Tableau for those that are looking more for the data and insights and analytics side of things. Okay, so this is the apps exchange in a nutshell. Okay, so career options. Okay, and to close, so let's talk money. Okay, let's talk evolution. What is it that you can do or not do inside of the CRM trail? Okay, and career. So there are essentially some key, let's say, positions and roles that you can actually aim for. But apart from those, you have more roles, of course. Like, for instance, mine is not even here, and I'm working as a head of Salesforce, okay? But what you have is the business analyst, a consultant, okay? You have architects, you have project managers, you have developers, okay? There are different roles that altogether are part of a team that works within CRM, okay? So the main ones are, the main trails, let's put it like that, are the Salesforce admins, are people that manage the CRM, okay? That give training, that create users, that support people in terms of questions, okay? Then, for instance, you have the consultant, as many of you are, okay, that provides advice, consultancy on how to launch the best possible campaign, how to track the campaign, how to make sure that you hit your target and you add value to the company and to the customer, okay? Then you have developers, those that are more on the techie side, okay, that actually can write code and can create new apps, can create new solutions inside of the CRM because it's highly flexible. You can essentially create almost anything that you want in terms of a solution inside of a platform such as Salesforce, okay? Then you have the architect, okay? The architect is a position that currently there is only roughly 1,600 globally, okay? And represents roughly, they are called the 1%, okay? Because there are not so many of those. Normally speaking, they are called for more complex projects, okay? So we have the consultants, we have the project managers, we have the developers, etc. And then you have the architects, and then you have the architects that are in charge of the entire landscape that put together, for instance, the sales part with the marketing part, with the service part, because if you launch a campaign, most likely you're gonna have people that engage with your brand, that buy your product, and therefore could be that in at a later stage they will need the support of service. Okay, so it's important for you actually to be able to integrate all of that. Okay, this is the role of the architect. Okay, so now specifically, let's talk money. Okay, so here some brackets of how much can you actually earn. Okay, I work across different countries. Okay, so I'm sharing with you how much can you actually earn across those countries? Okay, so those are the brackets of the salary ranges for someone that's working in the UK. Okay, for the as a position of admin, a developer, a consultant like yourselves, or an architect. Okay, so you have a junior position roughly at 47K. Okay, and it can grow up to 75K. Okay, 75K meaning 75,000 pounds yearly. Okay, and then there are some specific contracts, let's say, or requests that are done per contract. Okay, so normally speaking, you can have also consultants, developers, admins, architects, and other positions that are hired on a project basis. Okay, they work for 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, and then they leave the company. Okay, on that case, normally speaking, you have numbers that can go around the 500 pounds a day. Okay, up to 715 a day. But normally those are for short-term contracts. Okay, like 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, so that you have an idea of how much you can actually earn. Okay, so now Spain, that's where I'm living at. Okay, currently for a consultant, normally 28K to start from, and it can go up to 45K, and then the amount per day can go roughly between 320 to 400 euros a day. Okay, for contract-based projects. Okay, then the Netherlands, 35K up to 60K for consultants. Okay, then in Belgium, that I also lived at and worked, a consultant roughly gets 35 to 60K. Okay, and then Portugal. Okay, where we are actually at as part of this webinar. Okay, a workshop. So essentially, a consultant can go between 28K to 45K. Okay, but this, of course, you need to be certified. You need to have a certain degree of experience. Okay, and I'm going to give you that as well before we close and open for questions. What are the certifications that you can actually take? Okay. Then United States. United States lives on its own world, okay, in terms of salaries. Salaries, as you can tell, are very, very high in comparison to the rest, okay? There are a couple of reasons for this. One reason is that the Salesforce has loads and loads of demand, specifically in the US, okay? But apart from that, what you are actually looking at is a country that has loads of demand also in terms of technology, in terms of digital transformation, business transformation. Therefore, there are not sufficient people actually to work on the area. That's why the salaries are so high. But also there's another reason for that, has to do with taxes. Taxes are very low. So that means that, for instance, although you are earning a lot, you're going to be spending a lot also on your day-to-day, okay? On, for instance, insurance, that can go up to 500 euros a month, $500, sorry, a month on insurance. So it's more costly on your day-to-day. Let's put it like that. And that's why the salaries are also higher. Okay, so before we go into what is it that you should focus in terms of career, okay, I'm just looking to share one thing with you, and that's around let me just get into Salesforce again. To share with you some of the certifications that you can actually get access to, that you have an understanding of how does it work. Okay, because they have different types of certifications. So for instance, myself, I have 4 certifications in Salesforce and another one on project implementation. Okay, but so that you know. Okay, so if you go in here into credentials, you're gonna have an option that is certifications. Okay, if you go to certifications, you're gonna have different type of roles. Okay, consultant, Salesforce marketeer, developers, architects, and admins. let's focus on the Salesforce marketeer side of things. Okay, so what is it that you need to take a look into in terms of certifications? Okay, you have Marketing Cloud Consultant and you have the Marketing Cloud Admin. Okay, both of which are very much in demand. Okay, but in order for you actually to get those, you need to get the Marketing Cloud Email Specialist certification. Okay, so in order for you to get the certification, you need to go into an exam. Okay, you need to roughly to get 65% of the exam correct in order to get the certification. Normally speaking, you should have roughly 6 months of experience working on it or doing a lot of Trailhead as an alternative, okay? So that you actually understand how is it that you can have success at the end. So Marketing Cloud Consultant, Admin, and Marketing Cloud Email Specialist are more towards the consultant side of things. Then you have Pardot and Pardot Specialists that are more for the B2B, while Marketing Cloud is more for B2C, although it also works with B2B customers, okay? And then you have the Marketing Cloud Developer that is more for the techie people, okay? So this is essentially what you have in terms of certifications for Salesforce Marketeer. And then you have the Salesforce Consultant as well, since you guys are working essentially on the consultancy side, okay, where you can also have everything around the marketing side with regards to consultancy sits here, okay? So to close, where to invest your time, okay? This is my advice to you in terms of career. Where is it that you should spend your time? Roughly speaking, you should spend your time not on trying to cover everything, okay? But instead of doing that, try to focus on a niche where you have your knowledge and experience. Could be that some of you guys are working on the marketing side, but for instance, are working more on, for instance, in connection to e-commerce, okay? It could be that others are working on the consultancy side. So try to focus on a specific area. Don't go and try to grab the world, okay? Then before COVID, location was very, very important. For instance, if you'll be working on Portugal, you're going to be receiving an X amount of money. But for instance, if you will be working in London, okay, Lisbon to London, you're going to be receiving more because you were in London, or if you be working on Amsterdam. Now, more and more, that's not the case, okay? So it's much more about working in a hybrid fashion, okay, where the relationship really does matter and your capacity to deliver matters, okay? Then the other thing is keep yourself up to date. CRM is evolving really, really fast. So you need to be on top of everything that is coming out of new features, new types of doing campaigns, omnichannel, multi-channel, in connection to data. What are the new rules, etc. Keep yourself up to date. And then what I would say is keep yourself visible. Okay, share knowledge, engage with community, share or do projects on your own, and then promote those projects. Okay, work as much as possible in order to actually to be visible. Okay, those are my advices in terms of how to focus your attention in terms of career. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so I'm opening then time for Q&A. Okay, Veronica, not sure if you are around, feel free.
All right, thank you so much for giving us this workshop or webinar. It was really interesting, especially also see what we can do in Salesforce. And we actually received a couple of questions that I would now give to you directly. So the first one is, how does Salesforce or CRM in general help convert leads?
Okay, that's a very good question. Okay, so essentially, and in order actually to help to become more visual, okay, I'm gonna go into Salesforce in itself. So here you have actually the way it can actually work. So if you have, by running campaigns, you can have conversion of leads, okay? Those same campaigns could be single channel, multi-channel, omni-channel, okay? But then what you're gonna be able to do is gonna be assembling the entire campaign. Okay, need to log in. assembling the entire campaign inside of Salesforce, and Salesforce will track everything that is happening with the customer or with the potential customer. On this case, we are talking about leads. To give you an example of, okay, imagine that you're launching a campaign that pushes people to go to your website, and you need to go to the website because what you want is for people actually to join a webinar. Okay, if when they go into your website, Salesforce starts to track what is it that you are doing there, even if you do not put your form. Okay, even if you don't fill your form, Salesforce will start to track. Why is that happening? If you go to a website right now, it will pop up always. Do you accept all cookies? Do you accept part of the cookies? Some of those cookies are actually Salesforce cookies, okay? So even if you don't fill the form, Salesforce will know that you were there, okay? And whenever you come back to that same website or landing page, okay, Salesforce will treat you differently because it already knows you or partially knows you, okay? So then you fill in the details, okay, and you are part of that campaign, okay? When you are part of that campaign, what's happening is that you are invited, for instance, to a webinar, okay? During that webinar, you're going to be speaking about a specific product, okay? And this is at the end of the product, at the end of the webinar, because normally speaking, you invite people that are very knowledgeable on a specific topic for a webinar, and it's like almost like agreed by most people that webinars are very strong in terms of conversion, okay? Because people normally that go a webinar are people that are interested, okay? It's easy, between brackets, or more easy to convert those from leads into potential business, okay? Then if people actually go into the webinar, they will receive an information with regards to the webinar. And when you click on that information, then you'll become, you will convert from a lead, okay, that was part of the campaign. You will convert into a contact, an opportunity, and eventually an account. And this is where you are converted. And all of that is tracked by Salesforce in terms of reporting and dashboard. So hopefully I was clear on my answer. Let me know, Victoria.
Yes, you were. Thank you so much. Then the next question that we have is more work related, which is
Okay.
how many hours does someone in CRM work per week? Is it a regular hours job?
Okay. Very good question. Okay. Actually, it depends on the country. I'm gonna give you my personal experience. Okay. So if you go to, it depends on the country and depends if you're working on consultancy, as an example, or if you're working on the client side. If you go to the Netherlands, they are highly, highly respectful of your working hours, okay? So it's normal for you to close your day at, let's say, 10 to 5, okay? At 10 to 5, you close, you start taking care of everything that is on top of your desk, and then at 5, you leave, okay? Normally speaking. Now let's go to the specific example of Spain. In Spain, it's more or less normal for you to work. It will depend, of course, but it's normal that you would work until 6:30, 7 o'clock, and it depend on the company. For instance, at Glovo, sometimes I needed to work till 9 o'clock. Okay, it's not all the time, but sometimes it happens. If you go to Italy, 9 o'clock is like the normal. Okay. So there are some countries where a bit more heavy in terms of hours, and others that are lighter. I would say as more to the north you go, less hours you're going to be working and better work-life balance you're going to have. If you are working on the consultancy side, it's highly likely that you're going to have to be really flexible in terms of hours that you work. Okay, so it's possible that you're going to be working more hours. As a rule of thumb, it's not a 9 to 5 job, okay? But it will depend on the company that you're working on the area that you're working on. Okay.
All right,
So-
thank you. Then also related to the last question actually is traveling that common in this line of work?
Very good question. So I'm going to give you my personal experience as well. I worked for IBM, okay? And when I was working for IBM, I did not travel, okay? Why? Because IBM has this kind of strategy of putting specific hubs across different countries. So normally we work with international customers, but we don't actually need to travel, okay? Like for instance, if you work with Cognizant, normally speaking, going to travel a lot. It will depend also on the company and their view on how is it that we should be doing business, okay? So pay attention to that, I would say.
Okay, thank you. Then the next question, also concerning you and your job, is how many people does it take to manage the CRM of a company? For example, how many people are you managing as head of Salesforce?
Okay, good question. So currently, there is a team is made of 7 people, okay? Then myself. Then I'm going to give you the breakdown of who is doing what within the team, okay? So I have people that are doing the admin side of things, okay? Apologies. Then I have people that are doing the implementation side of things, okay? They are doing like the business analysis, the consultancy, etc., etc. So I have 4 people that are doing that, okay? Then on top, what I do have as well is a consultancy, okay? And this consultancy are the extended arm, let's say. And within this consultancy, I have developers, I have consultants, and I also have architects, okay? So it's a mix, okay? So on my case specifically, this is the kind of team that I assembled, that I put together with an external consultancy and an internal team of 7 people plus 5 to 6 outside.
All right, thank you. Then I have a question from Filipa, which is, do you have any content recommendations, any platform really, for someone who is learning Power BI?
Okay, that's a very good question. Okay, so I don't know a great deal Power BI. Okay, but I would say, and this is my guesstimation. Okay, don't quote me on this. I would say that, as for instance, if I go into Trailhead, okay, I'm here in Trailhead. If I put here Tableau, that is the, let's say, the competition of Power BI. Here, you're gonna learn how to work with Tableau, okay, within Trailhead. I'm guessing that Microsoft has something similar, okay, that you can actually learn how to work with Power BI. But don't lose your time with Power BI, just go and work for the best, that is Tableau.
Very good answer.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, then. Earlier, you were also talking about data privacy. What are the differences between B2C and B2b in CRM?
Okay, that's a very good question, Vittoria. Okay, so to start from, there are, let's say, 4 main rules, let's put it like that, around the data management, okay? Everyone more or less knows Gdpr, the European rule, but then you have the CAN-SPAN, okay, that is from the US, okay? Then you have, I'm trying to remember the name, but you have a specific one for Canada as well, and then you have China and Russia, okay? The reason why I'm giving you this is because within those regions, let's put it like that, data is treated differently, okay? So let's start with China and Russia. If you have a company that works in China and Russia, I'm saying this because I work at a global level, So we need to interact with them. If you have a company that works in China, or for instance in Russia, and if you have an office there, or you deal data that is related to the customer there, the data needs to be in the country, with servers in the country. Cannot be in the cloud anywhere else that is on China or in Russia. Okay, so you need to be ready to spend more money in terms of investment. The rules are essentially, that is the most difficult part, but in terms of managing the data in itself, it's just the between brackets the most easiest way. That is, you just need to whenever, for instance, you send an email marketing campaign, you just need to have the possibility to allow for people to opt out. It's not extremely severe. Then, for instance, you have the case of US, the can span. Okay, they have certain rules that you need to adhere to, but B2b and B2c are very similar. Okay, the only thing that you need to have is also the opportunity opt out, and then you have X amount of days that you need to respect and adhere to that. And then we have our beloved GDPR. Okay, the most complex of all. Okay, so, and the most I would say robust of all. Okay, so here and here your question completely is spot on, Victoria, because there are differences between the B2B and the B2C. B2B is more light, okay, but even then it's more heavy than on the case, for instance, of US or China. Okay, and then you have the B2C that is the most complex of all. You need to have, you cannot, like, for instance, I'm going to give you an example. Prior to GDPR, we used to buy lists of names of people, okay, that we would use the marketing platform, the marketing automation to campaign to. Now we cannot do that. Okay, why you cannot do that? Because you need to have explicit consent of the person. Okay, and if you do not have that and you receive a complaint, you can have up to 4% of your revenue in fine. Okay, your yearly company revenue, which can be really, really heavy. Okay, so that's one. So you need to have really, really consent. So you cannot buy lists, and you need to, people have the right to be forgotten. People have the as soon as they say unsubscribe, they need to be respected within, if I do record correctly, within 5 to 10 days. If I do remember correctly, they need to be respected, their decision. Also, the other thing is that when you do opt out, you are opting out of that specific campaign. Let's put it like that. Imagine that you are engaging with someone via SMS, email, and via website. Let's put it like that. So when this person says, I'm opting out, he or she needs to say, I'm opting out from email. If I'm opting out from email, he or she still can receive campaigns via SMS, as an example. Okay, so it's across channels. So on the B2B side of things, you need you cannot buy lists as well, but you need to give the permission for the companies to opt out, and you need to respect. Once more, if you do not comply, you can actually pay severe fines. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. And I have 2 more questions for you, if that is fine.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay.
How is artificial intelligence affecting CRM processes?
Very, very, very good question. Okay, so I'm gonna try to go into Salesforce to give you guys as much as possible a concrete example of that. Let me go into to start from is affecting a lot. Okay, but I'm gonna try to give you a couple or three different examples. Okay, let me just. Okay, so we are at the opportunity. Okay, so imagine that you are in the negotiation process with this opportunity. What AI is doing currently, you will have here, for instance, Einstein as an example, and Einstein would say to you, based on predictive modeling, would say to you, hi, Paul, do not spend more time with this opportunity because the likelihood of you closing this opportunity is of 10%. Or it could say actually the flip side. Paul, although you are still on need analysis, the probability of closing this opportunity is of 90%. Okay, so please engage with this customer so that you can go faster and you can close. So this is one example of the AI and predictive modeling and all the models that work inside. Then you have, for instance, the example of marketing. Okay, so imagine you are running a campaign. Okay, what Einstein AI, artificial intelligence, is used for is, instead of using specific kind of channels to convert a given lead into an opportunity, instead of using email marketing for this lead, use, for instance, SMS. Okay, that is one example of. So AI is completely transforming the way we are doing things. One of the things that AI is, for instance, used for is the next best action. So this for marketing, this for sales, this for service. So AI is saying to you, what is it that you should be doing, like a coach as well. Okay, so hopefully it was clear, Victoria.
Yes, it was. Thank you so much. And then the last question I have for you is then again more concerning working in CRM, which is what are the differences between working as a consultant or end customer in CRM?
Very, very, very good question. So there are positives and negatives, I would say. Okay. So talking about first on the customer side. On the customer side, you are much more involved with what's happening currently. Okay, at that given point in time with that business. Okay, so you have to be much more in, between brackets, engaged with everyone else. You have to know much more about that specific business, and you suffer much more between brackets the positive side of things and the negative side of things. Okay. Being a consultant, it's different in the sense that you are called for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, okay, 1 year. You go there, you are not, how to say, emotionally attached to the company, okay? So if you have a boss or a manager that does not want to follow your advice, you can just say, yes, fine for me, okay? I gave you my advice as a consultant. While, for instance, if you are actually working inside the company, the fact that your manager or another manager is not following what you're saying, okay, as an advice, can be a bit more difficult to cope with, okay? So a consultant, normally speaking, is someone that has, it will depend, okay, on the type of consultant as well, but normally speaking, is someone that needs to adapt very fast, because he or she gonna go into a company, it's expected for him to be, or her, to be actually to be performing within a week or so and give advice, okay? So it's much more, also there's another thing that I would highlight as an important point, is that you are much more respected as a consultant, because you already are coming with the branding of the consultancy, okay? Normally speaking, you're gonna be much more respected. While if you enter in the company, you need to go with a very strong resume and you need to prove yourself constantly, while a consultant, normally speaking, does not.
Okay. All right. Yes, thank you so much. Is there anybody else that maybe forgot to ask their question on Slido? This is your last chance. So please ask your question now so you won't regret it later. But if not, then thank you so much, Paulo, for your time today, for sharing your knowledge with us. It was a super insightful workshop. It was a lot of fun, very interactive, and I think we will make usage of a lot that we learned today in the future. So thank you so much for helping us on our future career paths. And yeah, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Okay, so I will send across to you, Victoria, the links for you to access Trailhead and also the Salesforce, so that you can create your own Trailhead and your own sandbox, so that you can play around with CRM.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I will send you the recording of the session.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. Okay, everyone, take care. Okay, enjoy your vacation.
Thank you, Paul.
Paulo,
Thank
can
you.
we just
Thank you.
ask everybody to turn on their cameras so we can take a photo, please?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Amazing idea, Leona. I cannot see you all, so I'm just gonna. Okay.
Paulo, if you could maybe stop sharing your screen, I think then we
Yeah.
can get more people on the screen.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm gonna
please.
Okay,
stop
perfect.
sharing my screen. Yeah.
Ah, very nice.
Hi, everyone. And also, just another thing as well. If you have any questions that you, for instance, forgot to raise right now, or you want to raise it afterwards, feel free to reach out to me, okay? Or even through Victoria, of course. Okay. Just gonna give you. I have my YouTube channel and my LinkedIn. Feel free to check it out, okay? And feel free to raise questions also via LinkedIn. I'm part of a platform also, so that you know that you can also reach out to them. That is called Conta Conosco, okay? Count with us, okay? And Conta Conosco is helping as much people as we can, okay? So I'm part of that now for 9 months or so, okay? So you also have people there that work on CRM as well if you want to raise questions, okay? Feel free.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to take the photo. Please smile. Thank you very much. And thank you for coming. And Paulo, of course, thank you for giving such good insights in this area.
Thank you for your time, okay?
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Take care. Enjoy.
you.
Okay, bye.